Yo, good evening, everyone. Today is February the 13th, 2024. Most gracious and heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for allowing us to see that another day. Thank you, God, for your goodness, your mercy, your grace, and your kindness. Most of all, God, we thank you for your love. We ask you, God, that you will bless this broadcast as usual. We ask you, God, that you will look on those that are going through. We ask you, God, that you will look on over the less fortunate children that are suffering from abuse, neglect, trafficking, all kind of different things that they shouldn't be in experience. We ask you that you will be with them, comfort and keep them as well, God. We ask you, God, that you will look over our guests on this evening, as well as the viewers and their families as well, God. We ask all these things in the mighty and the matchless name of Jesus. We pray. Amen. What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show. Um, we're gonna come on tonight. We're gonna talk about Valentine's Day is tomorrow. We're gonna talk about Black love a little bit. Let me get my screens pulled up as you guys come in. Let me know which platform that you're watching on. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show on our YouTube channel so that we can get our subscriptions up over there, as well as the views of contents. We have plenty of shows that's over there as well that you can watch at your leisure. You don't always have to watch the show live. I ask that you do watch the show live, though, because we want you guys to always be a part of the conversation. So it just makes it much smoother as you guys be in the comments, whatever the case may be. Makes for a better show, in my opinion. Um, Tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about love, Black love. We're going to be talking about, of course, we're going to be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, the halftime show, and of course, well, not of course, but we want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about the Monique episode of Club Shay Shay with our guests. As I wait on our guests to arrive, we got a special guest on this evening. But I want to start out by, as usual, saying Happy Born Day to everybody that celebrated over the past week rather. Happy birthday to all you guys, especially Tamara Perry, Lakeisha Reed, everybody that celebrated. And last but not least is Julian Capel, one of the show top viewers. My boy from high school. Happy born day to Jew, you ladies, and everybody else that celebrated over the course of this last week. My condolences to everyone that lost someone on this past week. As I posted Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, February 11th, it made 4 years since we buried our Bishop James H. Everett II. So it was kind of a rough day Sunday before the game got started. Kind of an emotional day, not a rough day, but emotional. Just can't believe that it's been 4 years since we lost him. So, but we better off knowing him as the man, as I posted on Sunday. We just thank God for putting us in a life space and time where we had the pleasure of actually coming up under such a godly leader, somebody that was influential in many of our lives. People that even didn't know him personally, they knew of him and the legacy that he leaves behind. So we just thank God for allowing us and blessing us to share such a space and time. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce tonight's guest. It's been a minute since we had on here. My co-host is Victor Moses.
It's been a minute.
That's none other than Miss Laisha Webb, Miss Goodbye to me, but that's between us. What's good with
What's up? Nothing much. I am back. I had to take a little break from social media, give it a rest. But I'm back in the building.
you? That's all of us. And it's funny that you say that because I've been seeing more people do that often. These more often since the pandemic or these last few years,
hmm
where it's like it's a good thing because sometimes I was having a conversation with someone not too long ago, and they would ask me about the show, if the show was coming on or whatever, and they would text me because they were saying that, well, they don't get notifications anymore because they're not on social media. And I was
hmm
like, it's just funny how, and there's no judging no one or anything of that nature here, but it's like it just fascinates me sometimes how many even so many times you hear people talk about, well, I'm not really into social media like that. I'm not on my phone like that. But when
Oh
that
no, I was on my phone like that.
when, when that weekly report come up on your phone, if you have that, you looking like, oh my God, I was on Facebook for 14 hours. I was on YouTube
Yep,
for 14 hours. Like,
yep,
and it's
yep.
like you
It's
don't
just
realize.
you don't. It's very addictive. It's very, and I knew I needed this. Is my we getting started early because this is my transparent moment. I knew I needed a break because one, I was like, okay, so I lost my grandfather
Mm,
in 21. And so for me, it was crippling. Like it was crippling, but I was like, okay, I'm a keep it pushing. I'm gonna push on through. And then when my grandmother passed in 22, almost a year to date, and they had like I strong. If I didn't believe in dying of broken hearts, I believed then because when
mm,
he died, he like she was here physically, but the day he died, like she a piece of her, all of her
yeah.
died with him that day. And so for a year we just kind of watched her struggle. So anyway, once she passed away, like I would get on social media and everything was triggering. Like everything was triggering. Seeing because they had been married. Like we talked about this before,
Mm,
like when I was on before and we talked about black love and stuff like that. And I was talking about how they were just really inspirational to me as a couple because they had been married almost 65 years. And so just anytime I would see like an older couple, like it just everything was just triggering for me. And
mm,
I was like, I gotta come off because I'm not going to be able to like get myself together mentally, emotionally. Like I'm not gonna be able to do it looking on social media. Like everything is going to upset me, like dang, why I have to be my grandparent? You know what I'm saying? So that's when I knew I needed to get off. In addition to I was seeing stuff that people was getting, and I was like, "Well, dang God, I've been trying to get that. Why I ain't got it?" Right? And so that little streak of jealousy, and that's not even who I am as a person. Like I
yeah.
don't be caring what nobody has. Like that's what's up. Like I'm gonna celebrate and I'm gonna clap for everybody. But the fact that now I got this little streak of bitterness. Everything was just triggering. Like I'm pissed at the world. So my grandparents done died. So now I'm pissed. Seeing older couples piss me off. Seeing people getting stuff piss me off. So I was just like, you know what? Girl, you got to take a break. It's too much. It's not even that serious. It never has been that serious. Ma'am, I need you to calm down. And
Mm,
so for me, that's what it was. And I took a break for over a year. I just came off, and it was very refreshing for me. Um, I loved it because I was on here way too much. Like I was on here way too much.
mm,
Like would close it and then would find myself reopening it within seconds, like less than a minute. Like it's giving addict.
mm,
You need a break. So for me, I would absolutely do it again. I'm actually thinking about doing it again. So I'm glad I'm on here today
yeah,
because I
you
am
definitely missed it.
absolutely, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
absolutely considering doing it again. It just puts you in a different mental space, right?
yeah,
Because when you become dependent on social media, which a lot of people are very dependent on social media for their image, to tell them who they are as people. When you become dependent on social media to do that, you already lost. You've
mm,
lost already. So yeah, I
yeah.
would recommend
I feel the
anybody
same
come
way
on.
because it's like for me, it's almost to the fact like and it's some things a struggle for others that's not for others. But I'm literally this Tuesday might be the only day that I'm actually like on Facebook like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sporadically, I
Mhm.
might come on a Sunday, peek at a few things, or maybe post something real quick, but I can't let it consume me like that because I
Right.
don't want to be one of those same people that I talk about. You know what I mean? Every
Exactly.
time you
And
turn
it's
around, you got your
easy.
phone in your hand.
Yep. Yep. And that's what I was doing, going to sleep with it, waking up with it. And honestly, it's easy to fall back into that pattern because the longer I'm on here, like the long so from whenever I got back on here at the top of not even the top of the year, a couple months before that, to now I'm finding myself getting back into those addictive habits where I'm waking up in the morning and Facebook is the first thing like sis, you did not come off of social media for that long to just go right back into doing the same things that you were doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I advise anybody to do it for just, I mean, whatever your reason may be, figure it out and keep that and let that motivate you to
Hmm.
continue on your journey of staying off social media. If that's what your thing, if that's what your thing is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then well, we're going to start with
Let's
shout
get
out to let's see, shout
what we
out to
start with.
Lucy Potter,
Mm.
uh my brother E, and rest in peace, my cousin Aunt, and rest in peace, my cousin Earl, and all the rest of the Kansas City Chief fans out there on another Super Bowl victory. Uh, and let's be clear for all y'all before y'all even start hating. No, I'm not a Kansas City fan. We did this a couple years ago when my cousin Earl passed away. He was a diehard Kansas City fan. He actually passed away right before they won their first Super Bowl. And his son is a rapper, so we wound up doing a video. So we all had on Kansas City gear. So that's
That's
the only
dope.
reason I have the shirt in my possession. Other
That's
than that,
dope.
I would never have it. I am not a Kansas City Chief fan. For the record, I know people been talking to my me and my brother or hit my brother up. Hey, Marvin came over to the Chiefs. No, I am not a Chief fan. This
That's
is in
dope.
memory
That you
of
repping.
yeah. This was in memory of. But shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs, their fans, their staff, and all their players on winning another Super Bowl. I know a lot of you ladies not into football, but I mean, as far as the fellas that's out there, and again, as y'all come in and jump in the comments and be a part of the conversation. But I don't care whether you're a fan of the Chiefs, the Cowgirls, the Giants.
Not the cowgirls.
Yeah,
Don't
Cow.
forget to shout out them
Yeah,
lions
I'm about
because
to say
we
I
did our
got to give it.
thing.
Yeah. I got to give it to the Lions. Just a shout out to my boy Mo, hubby. Um, even though they coach is kind of suspect. We ain't even gonna talk about the whole.
Listen. Get off us.
Detroit should have been it. Detroit
Get
should have
off
been it.
us.
Um, but Patrick Mahomes is a different kind of beast. This dude is a special kind of player. The stuff that Patrick Mahomes does, you cannot coach. It's impossible to coach. He's just totally gifted. Now I'm not even going to really get into the whole of the Super Bowl rig type stuff, but I was thinking about it and I was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and everybody we always had that conversation when it comes to sports and championship things of that nature. There, we get tired of seeing the same people win, and we want to see something new. And like the run that,
Hmm.
like you said, the run that the Lions had. I'm not just saying it because you on, and I know Mo is because I was thinking about him the whole season. I've been telling Mo for like the last 3 seasons. Like even when the Lions were losing, they were always within like a score. They wasn't getting blown out. They was just like
Right.
missing certain things here and there. So it was unbelievable to see the run that they had this year. But I was like, man,
Super dope.
can you imagine with the Super Bowl being in Vegas this year? Can you imagine if the fans had got what they wanted in a Baltimore Ravens versus a Detroit Lions Super Bowl? Like
It would
those
have
two
been
cities, like they would
crazy.
call the National Guard into Vegas.
It would have been
No
crazy.
matter who loses, everybody lose between Detroit, the city of Detroit, and the city of Baltimore.
Listen, it
You
was
know what those
still
kind of
people
problems
from
ain't
Detroit down in Vegas
yeah.
this past weekend. Like heavy. People will still win because you gotta understand, I'm not a sports head by no means. But when the home team come on, you cannot tell me I haven't been watching football my
Mhm.
entire life. Like you just can't. And so to see the run that they had, it was great just because it's been so long, like 30 plus years.
Mhm.
But it was just really dope to see how it brought a lot of people, like a lot of the people in the city together. Like
Yeah,
it did something amazing for the city economically. Just again, just bringing people together, bonding people. Like that part was dope, if nothing else. So I appreciated seeing that more than anything, like
yeah,
just hearing people, like, because again, being from the city, I still have a lot of friends and some family there, and so just watching, like my cousin, went to, it was a watch party at the in the stadium or whatever, and so she videoed me while she was there, and to see like the excitement, to see like everybody just, dope. It was just, it was dope. It was so dope.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, shout out again to the Lions. Even they lost, even the 49ers. I mean, they lost, they were there, but somebody has to lose. They have to be a winner just like they have to be a loser. But I'm just sad to see that another season is come and gone.
Yeah,
It hit different when football season is gone for us fellas.
I'm
And
excited.
the
Okay,
ladies that's
listen,
not,
I
I know
can't even
guys,
hold you up.
yeah, I know I know quite a few women that are sports sort of fans of the sport as well. So yeah, it's a different kind of now we got All-Star Weekend to look for next week, but the NBA just is
It
like
ain't hitting like it used to.
it's a different game and it's too easy and you got
Hmm.
jokers scoring 150 points a game these days.
Listen, crazy, crazy.
It makes no sense whatsoever, man. So it's not.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the new game, so I don't hate on it, but I'm not a fan of it, so I could really do without it. Um,
right.
but yeah, shout out to all those guys there. So before we get off the football, what was your thoughts? And all you ladies that's out there viewing, what was your thoughts on the halftime show with Usher?
Listen, I thought Usher did an amazing job. Execution, the visuals, vocals, like the stage presence, his performance, like just overall, it was amazing to me. Now, my girl Alicia, she came out with that first note a little rusty. However, that is above my tax bracket. So I'm going to mind my business. Okay. And just appreciate how phenomenal she looks in that red. Can we give it up for the red? I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. The piano, the look, everything about her stage presence was amazing to me.
Yeah,
Of course, everybody talking about Jermaine Dupri and his ruffle socks, which he later came out and said they weren't ruffle socks. He posted the socks he had on, which were still very much suspect, but there's neither here nor there. But overall, Usher did an amazing job. It was so him, from the skating to just the like the odes to Michael Jackson, just everything about it was just, it was dope to me. And I know people are like, it was, I ain't really like it. I don't understand what they were they were looking for or expecting. But the odes to HBCUs and the
mhm.
Kappas, like, I mean, it was just really dope to me. Really appreciated it.
He
So
said
yeah,
it. He said it best closing it out. We brought the world to the A. A. We brought the world to
brought
the
the
A.
world to the A.
Like
That's right.
I'm not even just going to jump on the bandwagon. But before I really get into my assessment of it, well, I'm gonna do it in different parts. But me personally, I thought it was one of the better halftime shows ever.
For
Not
sure.
recently, but ever.
For
Um,
sure.
it was like you
For
said, it was
sure.
orchestrated wonderfully. It wasn't time consuming because that's one thing as a former athlete. We always talk. We hear that conversation too, especially amongst the athletes that are playing. Like, what are
Hmm.
we going to do to shorten this halftime show? Like, people they be wanting to be entertained, but at the same time, if you want to see Usher like that, pay for Usher ticket. If you want to
Right.
see Janet like that, pay for a Janet ticket while she's on tour to go to see her concert. This is a
Right.
halftime show. You said
Halftime
do
show.
15 minutes and then back out. It's hard for football players to have 30 minutes off and then have to go back out there and warm up and all
Yeah.
that stuff there. It could be excruciating on the players. Now, I'm not giving those
Hmm.
guys, they make millions of dollars, so let's not oh my God. But it's a thing, it's a big thing psychologically when you're amped
And
up.
it's a halftime show. Like,
Yeah.
it's meant to be, like you said, if you want to
Amen.
see a full concert, baby, you're gonna have to either pay for a ticket, get on YouTube and have your own concert of some sort.
Mhm.
Like, it's a halftime show. Deal with it. Like I said, it was amazing for what it was. The man didn't get paid for it, and he still put on We are live, and so I'm gonna say a heck of a performance. He put on a heck of a performance. Hey, Sarah, girl.
Hey, what's good, Sarah? Hey, yeah. And so Mike, shout out to Michael Georges Jr. He was on a couple weeks ago. Phenomenal singer. He's down here, he's from up top, but he's down here in the North Carolina area. Y'all need to check him
Hmm.
out when you get a chance to. But he had made a post about that. They're talking about the westernization of, or that mentality with everybody on getting on Alicia Keys and the bad note and all this other kind of stuff. There. Okay, my take on that is simple. You said it's above your tax bracket, but I'll speak on it.
Go for it.
It's funny to me. It's funny to me, and I'm no Harry Belafonte. I'm no R. Kelly. I'm no nothing there. But it's funny to me that the main people that have something to say on this topic can't sing a lick.
At all. At all. Again, above my bracket.
So
I can't sing nothing.
You're trying to make fun of her and all that there. But first of all, there's a reason that we're talking about Alicia Keys and a bad note. Not bad notes, but a bad note. And we're not talking about your performance at the Super Bowl. How about that?
That part.
I get the games of it and all that there, but first of all, it does not take away from her body of work. I've never seen, as much as I love Aretha Franklin, I've seen Aretha Franklin hit bad notes, but I've also seen Aretha Franklin fill in for Pavarotti. Like, how sick is that? I straight up opera, like fill in for the great Pavarotti. So it to me personally, and I'm not necessarily, I call it a home record. I'm not necessarily Alicia Keys fan, but as far as the performance and all that there, I thought she did a great job. Like you say, it was a good performance, and like you said, minus that bad one note. But again, when you look at her body of work from her very first CD, like, and people, well, I've been telling y'all all along that she can't sing and this and that there. Okay, when you get an album out there, we can critique you, then we can revisit the conversation.
She's doing something right.
Exactly.
She's doing something right.
We're talking about it. So
that's it.
That's my take on it, and I won't change on that. Now, as far as JD coming out there looking like CeeLo Green,
they should have kept him because that's exactly who I thought it was initially. I was like, okay, CeeLo, oh,
you wasn't the because everybody thinking, Atlanta. Oh yeah, look at CeeLo. It's been a minute since we seen CeeLo. Like, yo. Again, the same way I'm making fun of it, the same way I was saying we should make fun of Alicia. That man can do whatever he want to do. But dude, you got so much money to be out there with some Girl Scout cookie shoe socks on, bro. Like,
whole outfit, whole hookup, whole hookup, a hot boiling mess.
One of the funny ones that I seen on Facebook was one of my friends. Shout out to Mo. She said, "Why Jermaine Dupri up here looking like Wednesday from the Addams Family?"
That he was a mix of some of everything. He looked horrible. It was a hot mess. Entertaining show. I loved Ludacris coming out. I loved all of the guests that he had, but yeah, he could have kept JD. Yeah, he could have kept him.
He had the rep. He had the rep for the A. He had the rep for the A. That's why.
And that he did. That he did. He put on for the city. Now I can't hold you. He definitely put on for the city, but he could have kept JD for sure.
I definitely got my money's worth because I was telling everybody ever since they announced that he was going to be doing the Super Bowl back like September, October when they first announced it that he was going to be doing it this year. I said, listen. It will not be a classic unless one thing happens. And that's he has to. It's not even optional. It's not even up for debate. He has to close the year. Has to. And to see him bring out Lil Jon and Luda, boy. Listen. That song, I can't even tell you what year it was. All I know is when that song came out. This doesn't apply for all you church folk. Okay. But when that song came out, I don't care whether he was from the north, south, east, west. When that song came on in the club, it was over.
It was hype. It
that,
was
that
lit.
it was, oh my goodness. Like, yo, what is this? I'm not even necessarily a fan. And then all you hear is that Luda voice. My outfit's ridiculous. I used to go so crazy in the club when Year came on. So I was like, yo, he did a good job. And like you said, he said it best in the closing. Yo, we brought the world to the A.
That's
We
it.
brought the world to the A. And it
That's
was
it.
cool. So that's a new conversation because they don't usually announce it till maybe like August, September, who's gonna be the
Hmm.
the performing artist. But keeping it real is still early. But don't be surprised if we see Lil Wayne next year, being that the Super Bowl is going to be in New
Oh,
Orleans.
in New Orleans. Yeah.
I would not be mad at that choice because Lil Wayne has enough songs, he has enough hits,
Yeah,
and
he got a nice catalog. He can definitely hold his own. I don't know that I would want to see him for a halftime show per
yeah.
se, but he
Have you
can
ever
hold
have
his
you ever
own.
seen Weezy perform? Have you ever seen him in the show before?
I have never seen him in a concert, but I'm not huge on rap like that though.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Weezy has a great performance. You pay to go see Weezy, you're gonna get your money's worth because as old as he is, well, he as old as he is, he still always be like the youngest. Like he's still
Yeah.
a boy compared to our age group, so to speak, because he started when he was 13, 14 years old.
Right.
He still has that young boy energy, but he gives you your money's worth. He's jumping around on stage, and like you said, he got so many features that he could bring out rock and roll stars. He could bring out country
Hmm.
stars. He could pretty much do whatever he want to do. Like
Yeah.
Cam said it best earlier today. Like Wheezy, even though he's a rapper, he is literally a rock star.
Right.
He's bigger than just hip hop. He is a rock star,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
goes to people my age, people the younger age group. They still know who Wheezy is. Wheezy is. To some people, I think about it. To some people, Wheezy they go when it comes to rap because they don't know or respect the older generations. And it's like I was having that conversation with somebody about Kobe recently, and it was like I had to check myself. Like, why am I going back and forth with you about Kobe when you wasn't even born when he was playing?
That part. That part.
It's like the older we get, like the farther we are removed from a thing or a time. It's like, man, that was like 20 some years ago.
So long ago. It's insane. So long ago.
Yeah, it was funny because I thought about you a couple weeks ago. We went me and Elisha, shout out to my son Elisha. We went out to get something to eat, and the young lady that was helping us, she was kind of she acted like she was starstruck. We was sitting there having a conversation. We was like, what's going on? She all goofy eyed, giggly, and all this here. So she finally came over. She was like, "Well, she's like, I know you're older than him, but how much older are you as the older brother?" And he was like, "Oh God, here we go." And you was the first person I thought about. He's like, "Do not gas this man head up like don't say that in front of him." Like,
Listen, we done had the offline.
he was the first person I thought about. I think that might have been like one of the first times we ever spoke, like other than hi or bye. And he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Did he just call you bro?"
Yeah,
I
exactly.
said, lie. I said, wait, girls get on. Just keep on living. Like my mom used to tell me, just keep on living. And you
I
get close
look,
to
I
the
ain't
twins.
hit the I ain't hit the bro yet. I ain't hit that yet.
You get close because the twins, they ready for high school, ain't they?
Oh my gosh, don't even remind me. We are going to ninth grade this upcoming school year. Not
It's crazy.
excited about
I
that.
remember before they were born and all this kind of stuff. Then it's like, where does the time go? Literally, like where does the time go?
Literally. I am
And
not
just
looking
like that,
forward to it.
they moving out and all this other kind of stuff.
Don't remind me. They remind me all the time, Mommy, we're getting older. We're getting older. And I'm like, calm down. First of all, relax. Okay. We are not even in high. We didn't even walk the first walk in the high school yet. Calm down. Like
Uh-huh.
we don't even know where we're going yet. Relax. So they remind me all the time about high school. Yes.
All right. So we gonna end with the Black love and Black history. So what was your take on the parts that of what you heard, if anything, on the Monique conversation. I'm like, is Club Shay gonna be the new 2024? Is Club Shay gonna be the it spot?
Listen, he giving catty, and I don't really know how I feel about it. Um, I feel like because okay, first of all, I don't really drama in real life. I don't do so celebrity drama.
Mm-hmm.
Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. Like I could care less.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff it does pique my interest, but overall, I'm not gonna sit and like I didn't watch the Cat Williams interview. I'm not going to sit and watch it, right? So the stuff that I did hear, um, now Monique overall to me is a very dramatic person. Just outside of
Mm-hmm.
being a comedian, she just seems like from her interviews and things like that, she just seems to be overall a very dramatic person. And so in her interview, there were some things that were like, okay, I could see that, like the part where she talked about how Oprah invited her family
Yeah,
onto the show days after she had won her, was it an Oscar that she won?
he's super duper messy. Yeah, for
Yeah,
president.
super messy, right? And so that part, it was like, okay, it for me, it spoke more to who Oprah is
Mm-hmm.
than it did Monique because this is seems to be a common thing
Mm-hmm.
for Oprah. Now, and then she talked about her son. Now, being a mother, it's like, okay, listening to what she was saying, and then now her son has come out. So that part was like, okay, Monique, like you're the mom, but you're waiting on him to reach out to you. Like, so some of the stuff was like, girl, like what are we even talking about here? So I mean, overall, the interview was like, okay, okay, Miss Shay Shay, because that's what it's given. Okay, Miss Shay Shay.
All right,
But
so
by the same token, she did essentially what Cat Williams did, but
mm-hmm.
she got a lot more hate, a lot more. She got ridiculed a whole lot more. She just got a lot more backlash than Cat Williams did, which I definitely thought was unfair. Um, I thought it was some BS that she got so much backlash, considering again her interview was parallel, in my opinion, to what Cat Williams did, or what Cat Williams gave. Um, but overall, it was another catty episode on Miss Shay Shay. That's it.
All
It
right,
was
he
another
gonna be
catty
coming after you
episode.
like he coming after Mike Epps. I'm
Right,
waiting to see
right.
him. We'll get into it next week.
Lord, him exactly, Miss Shay Shay.
Yeah.
Don't make me expose the DMs, Miss Shay Shay.
Now,
Please have a seat.
see, for me, I've been watching Club Shay Shay now for a while. I would say years, definitely years now, because when I started this, doing the show, the Marvin Bennett Jr. show, it was like, okay, let me watch more interviews, let me watch more different
Mm-hmm.
podcasts and things that
Mm-hmm.
I normally won't watch just to see different takes and get ideas for questions and shows that I want to do with things of that nature there. So I've been a big fan of Shannon's I would call it progress that he's made,
Mm-hmm.
especially in LA,
Absolutely.
he's being a former football player. Um, because I remember when he played ball, like anytime Shannon Sharp was talking, it was like, yo, we need closed caption on the screen. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
had no idea what he was saying. He was like super duper country. That boy from Macon, from whatever part of Georgia they from.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect, but it was like to see where he had started from to where he is now. I salute the brother because he's come a long way. Even
Definitely.
undisputed with Skip Bayless. Thank God that he didn't put hands on Skip Bayless, even though we all wanted to see him do it. And he would have been rightfully so in doing so, because
Yeah.
he was out of pocket. But here's where I disagree with you a little bit, because it seemed like to me, more people, I didn't really see from my perspective, and I watched both of the interviews. I do believe that it was parallel. Um, I was having this conversation with someone too, and it's like, Shannon is this. And I said, listen, one thing about Shannon, and like I said, that's the reason I brought up that I've been watching it for a while. I don't believe that Shannon does messy. I don't believe that he intentionally say, okay, let me ask these questions because of clickbait or whatever. Cat said it
Mm-hmm.
best when he first sat down. He was like, the reason that I came on here is because this is a safe space. You allow people to come up here and say, whatever it is that they want to say, whatever. You're just having a conversation with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we feel comfortable with you. That and Cat specifically says from that point, that's why I had to come on here because you let that fat joker sit here and lie to your face. But the
Fat face not lie. Is that?
he was talking about saying at the time. He was talking about saying the
Oh,
entertainment.
yeah.
And one of the things about him, about Shannon in that regards is it's like if somebody come on here, right? And you tell your version of your truth, whatever, who am I as Marvin Bennett to tell you that you're a liar? I don't know.
Right.
All I know is what you tell me. You know what I mean? So I can't
Absolutely.
until somebody comes and dispute it. I don't fault Shannon for the line of questioning or how the interview went because he didn't know that Cat was going to come up here and just be on one this day. Now, when it comes to Monique, I look at it like this, and I don't necessarily consider myself a Monique fan. I used to back in the day, but then she lost me for a while. But one of the things that I do say in regards to the interview and what she was saying was like the story has never changed from day one
Very consistent. Very
to
consistent.
now. Even the names that she was
Very
naming,
consistent.
like she's always been doing this, and it bothers me as being someone that used to be one of those people. I'll be honest. I used to have a thing about fat women, obese women, and all that kind of stuff. They're feeling some kind of way, even
Oh
though
my
on the show
God.
they can't. You know what I mean? Not saying that,
Marvin.
but I'm on it. I'm on it.
Oh my word.
I think that is totally unfair. Now that I'm older and more mature when it comes to things like that, I think it's totally unfair for everybody to be feeling sorry for Taraji when Taraji said what she said, and Monique
Yeah.
said this.
Yeah.
But we looked at
Yeah.
it differently and had a different connotation with it when it was coming from Monique. But she didn't say anything different than than
I
Taraji.
think it's all about the messenger. People, when people write
Exactly.
you off, right?
Exactly.
People still love Taraji,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now I don't know how that's going to fare since she has. I ain't gonna say she spoke out against, but she definitely made it very clear how she felt about filming Color Purple, and so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
What up, Drew?
how that's
Hey.
gonna fare as far as like her in the industry and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But I think it's all about. Not think it's all about the messenger. For
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, Monique spoke too much of her truth too early on. And
Mm-hmm.
so now people don't respect, like she's said it. She was blackballed. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't care about nothing you gotta say.
Yeah.
Pink, purple, black, white, fat, skinny, obese, underweight. We don't care. You're blackballed. So anything you have to say is irrelevant,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though what she was saying from the beginning to now, like you said, has been very consistent. She's never changed her story. She's never, like, you can put her interviews together and it will all sound the
Yeah.
same. Like, it'll sound the exact same. So she has been very consistent with what she was saying. But again, it's the messenger.
Mm-hmm.
It's the messenger because you're not wrong.
It's the same way with church people. Like one pastor could preach one message, and another pastor speak the same exact thing. But because of this dude, and you're not a member of that church, it's the same. It's the same exact message. But we want to pick and choose. And the problem that I have with that is it's simple, and everybody's entitled to whatever. But I'm the type of person when even when and I'm gonna do a show on that coming up. The whole thing about women preachers. Should women be preaching? Should a woman be a
Oh,
pastor? Biblically speaking?
yeah.
There. And it's not necessarily one of those things that I've actually studied. So I want to do more studying myself to see how I really
Hmm.
feel about it from a biblical and theological standpoint, right?
Hmm.
But as a personal standpoint, right? My thing is always my position has always been when it comes to women preachers or women pastors, whatever the case may be, whoever can help me grow spiritually, right? That's who I want as my leader. I don't
Period.
want a man for the sake that he's a man, but I know he has 3 different babies in the church by women
And
that's
can't
not his
and
wife.
can't and can't preach. Let's just be
You know what I'm saying?
clear.
But just because he's a man, I'm gonna sit under his tutelage because he's a man. When this woman is bona fide, clarified, spends time in prayer, spends time researching the word, has a relationship with God, and I'm gonna put her in a box because she's a female. Absolutely not. I want to be around who's ever going to help me grow spiritually because that's what church is supposed to be for, in my opinion. I'll tell people all the time,
Absolutely.
churches I get tired of hearing people. It's almost like I was talking about Alicia Keys earlier. It's always funny to me how the most people that criticize the church are people that don't go to church.
Are the ones that's
You
sitting
got
at home
everything
on
to say
Sunday
about church,
morning
but you don't even go to church. Oh, because they do this with the money. And how do you know what they do with the money?
because of what they heard. What they heard. Them
You
people
don't know
don't
if
be
this
knowing no
man has a
different.
full-time job outside of ministry. You don't know if this man has wrote books. You don't know if he does seminars and speaking engagements, whatever the case may be. You don't know how they
It
make
just sounds good. It
money.
sounds good to say I don't go because XYZ instead of just saying, listen, I am at the age and stage where if I don't want to, it's just because I didn't want to.
Mhm.
That's just what it is. It ain't because this person did this, that, and the third. I don't go to church on Sundays because I don't do what I don't do because I don't want to
Yeah,
do it. The
absolutely.
end.
It's
I'm
called
not.
accountability. That's exactly what it's called. It's called accountability. And like
I
you said,
don't
we're
want
grown.
to, or not even accountability, choice. I don't
Mhm.
want to. Whatever it is, I don't want to do it. Okay, if I don't want to listen, I I might get some backlash for this, but I'm gonna say it because I don't care. I used to be one of those people who went to church every single Sunday out of habit.
Mhm.
Not, and this was not to say that my pastor could not preach because my pastor could preach the house down. But I have become so like habit driven that even with the best preaching, I wasn't really even locked in because I wasn't here because I want to be here this Sunday.
Mhm.
I'm here because it's out of habit. And if I don't, people gonna be looking at me like, well, why you ain't go to church Sunday?
Mhm.
And I cared too much about what people would say about me not coming to church on Sunday, right? Now I'll get there when I get there. Leave me alone. If I don't want to come this Sunday, that don't make me love God no less. I
Mhm.
just don't want to come this Sunday. Or I may have something going on, but I no longer am doing that because of what other people think. Like, no, no, thank you. And people need to get there. I encourage anybody who's watching, not me encouraging y'all not to go to church. Okay, let's be clear. Because I don't want the saints coming for me.
Mhm.
I am encouraging you to be clear about why you're doing what you're doing,
Mhm.
right? So if you're going to church because you really want to be there, you are locked in with God, that's what you desire to do, that's your heart's desire, do it. But if you just going because this is what you were taught to do, what really are you even getting when you go? You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, are you even taking in the word when you go?
Yeah.
Probably not, because you just going out of habit. You're not going because you really want to go. I did that for a long time.
Mhm.
For a long time. Now I do what I want.
And it's a dangerous place. Is a dangerous place for me because I always say I feel like my opinion, because it is just an opinion, is validated because I grew up in church. I grew up in Brown Ministry.
Hmm.
As a few member, I always try to tell people, and it's not that all churches are crooked or bad or anything of that nature. There, that's absolutely not what I'm saying at all. But
Right.
everybody can't handle what goes on behind the curtain. Is what I call behind the curtain. Everybody can't handle what goes on in those board meetings, even when it comes
Yeah.
to music, gospel music. I learned many years ago. Like a lot of times when we put people not on pedestals, but when we hold people in high regard personally, whether that's a preacher, whether that's an
Yeah.
artist, whether that's a soloist, whatever the case may be, sometimes it's important that we keep them where they at. We don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh my God, if I had a chance to meet Michael Jackson and this year or that there, or Stevie Wonder, like some people you need to like them from
Just
afar.
from
Because if you
afar.
get to know them
Yeah.
personally, you might see aspects of that person that will turn you off. All of a
Listen.
sudden, yeah, your hero is a letdown because you created this image that nobody told you to create into them, but they got to
Mm-hmm.
be this type of way when they're just a human being that's not that type of way. But you
Yep.
painted them in the pictures as such. And I think that is important that we, like you say, I think God, and I'm not saying it because it's me, but I've really never been one of those people since I was probably a teenager. I really don't. I think that it's a gift for me, especially as an adult. The older I get, but I really couldn't care less what people think about me,
Mm.
like because what you think about me, and I used to have this not argument but debate a lot when I was married, and we would always go back and forth of perception over that whole concept that perception is reality, and I'm like I hate that saying because it's not true for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your perception of me does not make that my reality
Mm-hmm.
because you perceive me to be aggressive or outspoken or vocal or things of that nature. There, that's just me being me. Now,
Right.
I might get it. Some people might find it intimidating. Some people might not. Especially where I'm from. Nobody that I grew up with when we had these kind of different conversations. I don't care how loud the conversation may get. Ain't nobody like, well, yo, man, y'all need to calm down. Like that's just the way we talk to each other. Neither one
Right.
of us feel threatened. We know we're not about to fight. We just having a conversation. Now, to
Right.
somebody on the outside looking in, like, yo, man,
It
I,
gets a
I
little
wouldn't
rough.
bring that up to them because they don't want that kind of smoke or they don't want that, you know what I mean? Because they're not
Right.
comfortable with it. So
Right.
again, that does not make me. You know how many times we went to the same church together, and it used to baffle me how many people would come to me years later after actually having a conversation with me and say, "You're nothing like I thought you were." Like,
Listen, because I see you on Sunday morning. It's like, oh, that mug is evil. Him not friendly at all.
yeah, because I don't do clicks. I don't do. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with
Oh
who's cool
yeah.
with me. I'm stick to
Mm-mm.
myself. I'm not one of those people. Well, hey, brother, how was the work week and all that thing? I don't ask fake questions. What I call fake questions. Hey, what's good?
Yeah.
What's good, Miguel? Yeah, you still my bro too, Miguel Quinn. I did shout out to you, bro. I gotta still get you on too, man.
Miguel, what's up?
And he was, matter of fact, he was one of the first people that approached me, man. It's crazy that I'm even talking about it, and he would pop up in the comments. But I remember him being one of the first ones. Hey, man, listen, we do this new convert class, yo. Would you mind being a part of it? Would you mind helping me out with it and things of that nature? Did he didn't look at me like unapproachable. Even if he did, he didn't betray me. He didn't let me know when he approached me. And I'm like, yeah, sure, bro, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing. And shout out, and I'm not saying it because I just seen your name, but that's one of the things that I always respected about McGill is I've always had an issue with brotherhood in churches.
Mhm.
You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because so many times there are fewer men than there are women. All
Mhm.
right. But why is it that we don't see more unity amongst brothers in church? Now we
Right.
say we're supposed to
Right.
love Christ and be followers and all that thing there. So, but we don't do each other. Pause. But we don't
Pause.
rock with each other. We don't rock with each other like that, or what have you. And it was like he was one of the first ones. Hey, listen, hey man, I want to try to get all the brothers together so we can watch the Super Bowl together. Things of
Yeah,
this nature.
that's dope.
Let's do something. Let's do a breakfast. Now, even though I wasn't a fan of going to these type of events, I
At all.
like okay,
Listen.
it used to bother me that it wasn't available. So now, how you gonna feel some kind of way because you don't want to be a part of it? You know what I mean? So you that's a contradiction. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I think that it's still a time and place for that, especially specifically in the church and in the black community. We need, with it being Black History Month, we need more unity within our community amongst each other.
Right.
Just because there's
Absolutely.
always a thought in the back of our minds that people want something. Yeah, especially when it comes to church.
Especially.
Especially when it comes to church. And it's like I don't want anything from you. I don't need anything from you. You know what I mean? Like that's just my perspective on it. I was having a conversation with a coworker a couple years ago, and it was like, yeah. And Marvin, everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs this and needs that. And I'm like, okay, that might be true for you. But the only thing in this world that I absolutely need that I would die without is God.
Yeah.
Everything else is a bonus to me. You know what I mean? The wife, the children, the family, everybody
Right.
else, even people that have family, they don't even rock with each other. Things of that nature there. People got friends that they don't rock with. Vice versa. The only thing that I need as an individual is God. That's it. That's it. Anything else other than God Almighty, that's a bonus. That's just the way I feel, and that's the way I felt for a long time. I mean,
I think we need. Yes, I agree, 110%. Like God is the trumps all, but I definitely think we need people. We need relationships. Like I don't think we were meant to be alone. I don't think we were meant to
what's up,
navigate
DJ?
life alone. So I think that's a need. People. At least the older I get, the more, because I used to be the same way. Like I don't need nobody. I'm straight. Like I'm good. I don't need no friends. That used to be me. Now I feel like relationships are a necessity. They're needed. God, for sure. Nothing is in that space of needing God, but I definitely think um relationships are necessary.
Yeah. And
Period.
there's no,
I just
let's be clear, there's no right or wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, absolutely not.
there's no right or wrong.
Absolutely not.
But like you
Because
said,
a lot of people still think what you just said. Like I'm everything else is a bonus. I'm straight. Like as long as me and God rocking, everything else, I'm good. I don't even want no parts of it. But I like I said, and then there's a lot of people that think like I think, like relationships are just it's a necessity of life. Like it helps. Relationships can get you into places that you wouldn't be able to get yourself into, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Relationships, I feel like God places, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times before. God places certain people in your life, certain times, certain people, certain places to be that angel on earth, right? And to be able to get to you in a way in which you may not be able to, or feel like God can reach you in that space, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's sometimes where we're not as connected with God as we need to be, as He needs us to be, as we desire to be. And God will send somebody that will help, again, relationship that'll help redirect you, or that'll help, trigger something in you. Like, dang, I didn't even realize how far I had fell off. Like God will send somebody and get you right together. So that's what I'm saying. I really feel like relationships are necessary. Um, relationships are a necessity. Now, who with? That's a totally different conversation. But I just feel like overall relationships are
Yeah.
100% necessary.
And it's not that I'm contradicting myself, but I believe both of them. I believe that is a space and time for both of them. Like you were saying, I always call it reason, seasons, or lifetime.
Absolutely.
Sometimes God bring people in. And one thing that I always raise my boys is that, I tell them, say, listen, the only thing that you could do in this world by yourself is be lonely. That's literally the only thing that you could do by yourself. Whether if you're a musician or you're an artist, you need people to buy your music. You need people to listen to your music. You know what I mean?
Necessary.
So
Absolutely.
there's a space is as far as, like you said, that connection of us kind of needing to interact with it. It helps us
Absolutely.
as individuals. But again, I do believe that like that needs to come from God, like God, what I call godly relationships, because like you say,
for sure.
It's different when that's the first thing people always talk about when it comes to marriage and things like that. It said the Bible says let no man put asunder what God has joined together. So I would try to tell people that's got to be that's what the first question that we need to start at. Did God put you together?
That part.
It was just something that you did.
That part.
You know what I
That
mean?
part.
So
That is key.
it's all about perspective, and it all has a time and place. But like I said, shout out to McGill for being obedient.
Shout out to
In
McGill.
his area of ministry, you know what I mean, and doing what God leads him to do. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that God really had to deal with me about. But it took God, again, God dealing with me about that. You know what I mean? Like he got to the point where it's like, you know what? Um, for you to do the type of ministry that I want and need for you to do is you just
Mm-hmm.
can't be that dude that sit on the end of the third row and just mind your business.
Right.
Because then when
You
I give
had to
you
develop what?
yeah,
Relationship.
relationship. Exactly. Because when I give you a word to share with someone, first thing they're gonna think is, well, who this dude and
Exactly.
like you said earlier about the messenger, it ain't that I'm not saying because people will look at me crazy sometimes. Like I never had a conversation with him before, but listen,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you, but the Lord told me to share such and such and such and such, and they
For
looking at me like
sure.
I've never even told my mother that. I've never told my father that. I didn't tell pastor that. Like, how do you know these different things? Like, so I think that it would be easy to digest if we had some kind of rapport.
Relationship.
Yo, what's good, Jen?
Exactly. Relationships are necessary. Like I said, I used to think and be of the mindset, just like you, like I don't need nobody. Like I'm good. And to be very clear, I still got the residual that to be very clear. Okay. But the older I get, the more I realize like it's just you just have to have them. Like there's so many things in your life that do not work if
Mm,
you don't have relationships.
yeah.
There's so many areas and things in life that you just cannot do by yourself. I don't care how much you try, how much you want to, how much you fight God about it. There's just certain things you just cannot achieve by yourself. You're not meant to achieve by yourself. There are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that you can,
Mm-hmm.
but there are just as many things as you that you can't without relationships. So
Yeah.
call me mature, okay? I've grown up a little bit, just a little bit.
And
And
we gonna we
relationships
gonna
are
we gonna wrap it
necessary.
up on the whole black love conversation, which is another is we gonna do that show again too later because I have that conversation with various of my female friends all the time. Well, especially the ones that grew up in church or around church ministry. Well, how do you feel about getting remarried? God don't want us to be alone. And I'm like, I got a different take on that too. I don't believe that scripture was pertaining to everybody. I don't believe that there's somebody for everybody. I believe that there's a
So are
reason.
you okay, go
No,
ahead, I'm listening because
no,
we done had this conversation.
no. I don't. It's like it got he got to break the clouds and write it so everybody can see as confirmation. But I don't see me revisiting marriage. I don't see that in my future. Even though people,
Okay, if I could ask you, if
mm,
it's not, I don't know if
yeah,
it's too
yeah,
personal for this platform or not,
nah,
but
nah,
what
you
is
good.
your reasoning? Because I know a number of people who say, yeah, I'm not getting remarried, like
Yeah,
one and done for me,
and
right?
I've
And they
known
have a
people that
lot of
say the
different
same
reasons.
exact thing and wind up remarried. Just for me is like that was a big part of my life for me,
Hmm.
right? As far as time wise. So people always ask me, that's one thing. Like at this stage of my life, I love my freedom. I love the fact that I don't have to consult with anybody. I don't have to sit down and what you want for dinner.
Mm,
I don't. I go to bed when I want to go to bed. I eat what I want to eat. If I don't eat, it's because I don't want to eat. Like, it's so.
that's so
I'm
okay.
telling you, that
Go
that that
ahead.
that's my truth. You know what I mean? Now,
That's your truth. Yes.
will it always be that way? Absolutely, it might not. But when you're connected with someone for so long, and then you get into a space and time, he said it. God did not.
Thank you, Miguel. God ain't said that.
No, what I'm saying is though, and I believe it's almost like and that's not a popular opinion either. But even when it comes to pork, and I know people, oh yeah, you definitely out of pocket there because people love their bacon. But that's one of those things when I look at it scripturally, I don't believe that God was talking to everybody. I believe that he was talking to Peter when he said, "What I have called unholy, what I call holy." When we had the incident where he was out in the wilderness, so to speak, and God sent the raven, and according to Levitical law, certain animals you can eat, certain animals you can't eat. You know what I mean? So his response to God was, "What I can't eat that. That's not holy." And God said, "I sent that for you to eat." Now I believe that that was a personal thing. I don't believe that that was a theology thing, so to speak. That's my personal take on that. So I look at that particular scripture when it talks about marriage in the same regard. Like I don't believe that
Uh-huh.
that's one of the reasons that in Revelation it talks about the 144,000 virgins, because I don't believe that God
Well,
created.
you don't qualify for that.
No, no, I don't. I have
Evidenced by your son. You
but
don't qualify for that.
I don't qualify for that category of heaven. But there is somebody that does. Like you know what I mean. Even when you look at the Bible, there are people, plenty of people in the Bible that weren't married, as far as characters or whatever the case may be. Everybody has a different area of ministry. Everybody has a different call, and everybody has a different walk. Like so, do I believe? Do I believe? I no, I don't. I won't even say to use the word believe. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I could be a great husband because I've been there before and I know what it takes in
Come
all what
on,
it
you
takes.
better big up yourself.
Yeah, I do. I know what it takes, and it's like this time around, I will be able to give a little bit more, learn a little bit more from my past. I won't say mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
but life experiences, because I don't believe
Mm-hmm.
that they were mistakes. I believe that it was a learning process, and I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that I learned what it is that I was supposed to learn from that interaction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I haven't said that there, but the other part into it, and it is a cop out, and it could sound lackadaisical and very lazy, but I don't want to do the work that comes along with being married either.
You know, if
I'm
I
just,
could give
I'm
you a
just,
standing
I'm
ovation,
just, I'm just
I
being
would.
honest. I'm
Because
just being
that's the
honest.
part that a lot of people won't say,
Yeah,
but feel they don't want to do the work. And that, oh,
it's work, and it's not that I don't mean work in a bad way, because relations, marriage is a beautiful thing if it's done correctly and properly in its context. But for
it's not
me,
about good or bad, the
mm,
work part. It's not about good or bad. It's just that people don't want to do it. And
mm,
people won't say, I don't want to do it,
yeah,
but they'll continue. It's a lot of finger pointing and,
mm-hmm,
you, when in reality, no, it's you, person, individual who just does not want to do the work or meet the person halfway. And yeah, shout out to you for actually being honest because a lot of people will not be honest about that.
and that's a
Yeah.
problem sometimes. Like you say, especially when you're already in a marriage. I'm not putting anybody on those spots and stuff, but it's so many people right now that might be viewing this with their mate, saying, "Good gracious, man! I wish I could say the same thing, but I can't because she right here, he right here."
Listen, couples really need to get to a place and space where they can have those open, honest conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like you would see, well, I don't know. You will see, I feel like one, you would either see a lot more genuine
Mm-hmm.
marriages, right? Because a lot of times people go into it still with their what do they call it? With their representative.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get the full version of who you marry until after you're married. And by
Yeah.
that time, it's not too late, but it's too late.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
now you got to figure out how to love this person who you're really married to because the representative has now, retreated, and now you're getting the real male or female. Now you're getting the real version of who you married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like if couples would just be honest out the gate, like this
Yeah.
is who I am,
Mm-hmm.
period. This is what you get, period.
Yeah.
Not that I can't change, not that I can't put in the work to change or to be a better version of myself, but this is who I am. This is what
Absolutely.
you're getting, just to be clear. Now, if
Yeah.
you can work with this version of me, we can go from here,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to come and give you this, fairy tale story about who I am, knowing that I'm hell.
Yeah.
For what? And I feel like a lot of times that's what get couples in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to be honest about who you are, what you enjoy, what you like, what you don't like. And for whatever reason, people are still getting married under the assumption that you can change this person. Like,
Stop.
if they don't
Yeah.
like X, Y, and Z, you cannot make them like X, Y, and Z, whatever X, Y, or Z may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you a church person and you married this other person because you fell in love with them, but they just don't like going to church as much as you do, 9 times out of 10, you can't change their mind. Maybe you being consistent with your walk with God and
Mm-hmm.
being consistent with attending church and being consistent with how you love on God and praying for your family and things like that can help get the wheels spinning, but you can't make them.
Yeah.
You personally cannot change them. I can't say we're married now. It's time for you to go to church. Well, baby, I didn't go before we got married. So what makes you think that you're gonna change me
Mm-hmm.
and make me go now? Like
Yeah.
that's just not gonna work. It
The
just
only
doesn't
person
work
that
like
you
that.
could change, male or female, the only person that you could change is yourself. Period. Period. You can't change people, and I
Period.
think that's another problem with younger couples. And that's just a personal thing. But I think, well, not even just younger couples, but you see it more with younger couples. I think that far too many people get married based off of potential, what this person could be. Well, what if that person doesn't become that? You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. You
You
get
know what I
married
mean? Are you
thinking you
still
can
willing to be with
change
that
them.
person for the rest of their life because you thought that he was
Exactly.
going to school to be a doctor, and halfway down the line they change their mind, now they want to be a mechanic or whatever the case may be? Are you willing to be with that mechanic version of that person?
Yep.
So many times we get married based off of potential, which I think is could be a very dangerous thing. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
you got to
super
accept people
dangerous.
for who they are and where they at,
Super
because they
dangerous.
might not ever grow, or they might be at a certain level, but they might decrease.
You're when you married off of potential, again, in my personal opinion, because this is not law, this is the laichism. When you marry off of potential, you're really playing Russian roulette with your future
You are.
because you don't you don't know the outcome. Like if you marry somebody, I would prefer somebody just be like, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't this is what you're getting. This is the raw, uncut version of me. Now don't do it too soon. Because I will retreat. However, if a person is honest about who they are, one, I'm gonna respect you off top because you kept it a buck. I ain't have to guess. We ain't have to play no guessing games. We ain't have to do none of that. You told me who you were. I can either accept it or choose to walk away.
And
Thank
now
you
I
for
have the
making life
correct
easier.
information and decide that I don't want to proceed.
Now I can say I don't like it. I don't want
That's
to.
it.
It blows my mind when people. I feel like when you give a person a false version of yourself, a representative, a narrative about you that's not true. I feel like you make a decision for the other person, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that is so unfair
Yeah.
because if you know, I call it a chameleon. You know, I'm a woman who loves flowers, nice dinners, traveling, right? And you give me all this stuff. You give it to me. We fall head over heels in love, and then you slowly start taking some of that stuff away. But I've already committed myself to you. I feel like that is the most selfish thing a person can do because you made a decision for me
Mm-hmm.
by not living in your truth, and
Mm-hmm.
you played this role of a person you're not. And so now or I find out some stuff after the fact. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
hate hearing that too. Talking to
Yeah.
people like, girl, I ain't know the family was crazy, or I ain't know this about them, or whatever, because they hid it. Or, dog, I ain't know she was like this. I ain't know she didn't know how to budget. I ain't know she couldn't, you know what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
spent all of my. You don't tell people these things and they go into it thinking you're one way and you're not. I think that is the most selfish thing. And I think that's one of the most damaging things to a marriage
Mm-hmm.
is when I have to find out something, not me, but you know what I'm saying? People. When people have to find out something after the fact, you have already made a decision for me. You've made the decision that I'm going to accept that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's to say I wanted to accept that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say he wanted to accept that? She wanted to accept that, but you now locked me into something because you couldn't keep it a buck.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Hey,
I know I
Erica,
went off on a tangent,
Erica, if
but
you still out there while we talk about black love, tell me something that you look for, or what's a red flag to you as far as women from being a single woman's perspective, Erica. Like something that would like turn you off from the beginning if you know it from the beginning.
I'm not a single woman,
No,
but
I'm talking about the girl. I'm talking about
no, no,
Erica
no.
the
I know
dude.
you talking
Yeah,
about Eric, but I'm gonna
yeah.
answer this. If I were a single woman, something
Right.
that would absolutely turn me off is a man dogging his ex. Sir,
Okay.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Because what are we even talking about? He would get the goodbye at that point. Because what are we even talking about? One, why are we talking about? I understand you need to kind of, okay, what happened in your last relationship? You
Hmm.
know, what you need to talk about that, but we're not going to spend, because one, you're not going to dog another woman in front of me. I don't care how bold she was. Enough is enough. Like, say your piece and let's move on. But to continue to talk about your ex,
Yo, what's good, Stella?
that's telling me a little bit more about you
Hmm.
than it is your ex.
Yeah.
So now I have questions. In fact, I don't have questions. Red flag. Goodbye. That's just me.
Mhm.
If I
Yeah.
were in the pool.
And it's not that it's a necessary thing like you say about presentation. I remember that I was dealing with this one young lady. Well, not dealing with her, but we was cool, whatever. And we were going out, and she was like, "Well, you can stop by the crib," and real cool, dressed nice, carried herself very well, nice car, everything like that. There, and I went by the house like my friend Rodney always. I remember spending some time with him, and he was telling his son, he's like, "Boy, if you don't clean this room." He's like, I need to know if these floors is either carpet or hardwood. Like, I can't even tell what the floors are.
A
And,
woman who can't keep her stuff clean.
yeah, I get inside the house and she's like, all right, well, let me clean off a spot for you to sit. And I've never seen her again. I've
Oh
never,
my God.
never seen her again whatsoever. So, like, and it's not that you got to be super clean or OCD and not like that there, but I'm just saying, like, if this is the way you live on a normal, and this is one of those things that you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know until you know.
Until
But
you know.
that was like totally like a turn off for me. It don't matter how cool we are because now I'm always visualizing what your apartment look like.
Yeah. Everybody have their standards, and it is absolutely nothing wrong with them. That's why I feel like people just need to sell themselves. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is who I am.
Yeah.
And if you don't match my standards, cool. It
Period.
was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. But what we looking for don't align. If
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot less.
There you go.
Okay, there I go. I feel like it would be a lot less divorces. I feel like it would be, like I said, a lot
Mm-hmm.
more genuine marriages, more genuine relationships, because people going into it out the gate genuine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period.
And like I said, that's just me. If you can't handle my truth, again, that's not my problem. You know what I mean? My truth is my truth. Either you could choose to deal with it or not. Like a lot of my female friends, they always talk about that. Like, I didn't put you in the friend zone. You put yourself in the friend zone. Like, and I have no problem with that. I will friend
Ooh-wee.
zone myself real quick.
You said goodbye. I am in the friend
Yeah.
zone. I'm
We could be
cool
cool
right
and all
here.
that there, but nah, like we could stay cool, but romantically, nah, it's not going nowhere because I have all these questions in the back of my head that don't need to be there. And I'm not
Yeah,
sure that
everybody
I
got
actually
their
want to
standards.
answer
Yeah.
that I want
Listen,
those
I
answers.
would have to agree. If I walk into somebody's house, if I were in the dating arena and I walked into a man's house and it was unkept, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I'm good. Cause sir, what is this? I'm
And
every day I'm finding something in my house to clean.
like you said,
Clean this,
when
clean
we
that.
talking about the truth, though, you got to be careful of that with that too. You get over there, it's like Eddie and Boomerang. You got the flowers. You don't know it took this dude 4 days to get it to look like this because he's used to living
See,
like old girl live.
see, you got to do a pop up.
Like you say, yeah, that's
Hey,
your best presentation.
hey, can I come in? You got to do a
Yeah.
pop up. Yeah, I heard the dating pool is real ghetto.
And having said that, hey, I said it on the previous show before too. But young lady, you single ladies out there, and you're looking to get picked up and all that there. How about we leave those filters in 2023? Okay.
Not
And,
the.
and everybody is entitled to do what they do. But I was telling one of my coworkers out there, I said we need to leave the filters and the baby hair in 2023. If you're over a certain age, you do not need to be having the baby hairs.
Listen, I'm gonna give you some baby hair swoops. Now you better go ahead on. You gonna catch these little swoop to do. Okay. Now the difference is I'm not coming here with it. I'm not coming here with it. I'm just trying to lay down the little curlies because baby, they gonna curl. They gonna do what they gonna do. Now I agree. I was told the filters, like somebody said, I think Mo told me, like, bro, stop doing the filters. Like,
It is
you
so
don't need
annoying.
the filter. Just now, to be clear, I'm not doing where it's giving me lashes and contouring my cheeks.
Hmm.
I just need something, you know what I'm saying, to clear out, make the skin a little, just a tinge clearer, okay? Just a little more even. That's all I be doing. But he was stop doing that. What are you doing? Just take the filter off.
Yeah.
And you know what? Speaking to the filter, honestly, it contorts our view of ourselves. Like it got to the point, I kid you not, it got to the point where seeing myself regular in a camera, I was like, girl,
Now
find the
you
filter,
feeling some
quick,
kind of
quick,
way
quick,
about yourself
find the filter, find the
because you
filter,
gave
find
yourself a
the filter.
false sense of hope.
Man, what? Find the filter. So now I'm trying my best to do more videos and more pictures, just filterless. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck. Sometimes I'll be like,
Willa
find
said,
the
"Her too."
filter. But yeah, that filter, that filter life, it
Yeah.
will really, it'll mess you up. And when you start seeing yourself, you be like, God dang, this
I met a young lady a while ago on one of the dating sites. I won't say which site, but I'll be definitely in the apps. I'll be out here in
bitch.
these app streets. I'm heavy in the app streets because everybody need prayer. Everybody need a little prayer. They like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm
That
just here to
bitch
do the
said
work of the
everybody
Lord. That's
need
all.
prayer.
And we had a couple of phone conversations. I'm like, yeah, cool. And maybe about after a month or two, we decided we was gonna meet up.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I get there. I'm looking around like, all right, I know I'm at the right place. But I only see like one, maybe two single women that's in here. I'm steady looking around. I'm steady looking around. And she comes and approaches me. I swear, why she looked like she was the president of the mother's board? Because all the pictures that she had on the app was like 20 years ago. Like, I don't know whether to say hello or just slam the door in your face, like at this point.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
let's keep the pictures updated too. Not just the filters. Let's make sure we got some updated pictures. Silla said, I remember running into one of my friends, and when I seen her, I was in shock because she did not look like the picture she was posting on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing about me too. I don't do a lot of pictures per se, but when I do a picture, I post it. Period. Because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
about to go through 15 different shots to pick the best one to make sure that
Oh
my
no, you
on
on your own.
and the sun just hit me just right and all that there.
You on your
Because
own.
to our point that we were making before is like I'm almost giving you a misrepresentation of who I am. You know what I mean? And I'm not mad at nobody that does that, but I'm just saying I'm not that vain. Let's put it that way. For me
Mm-hmm.
personally, I don't have to get 15. Oh no. My crease and my shirt was off on this one here. Let me get another. Because guess what?
Guilty.
When we out,
Guilty.
it might when we out to dinner, it might get a little, you know what I'm saying? My crease might be out of place. Well, she said, Priscilla said the same thing. Well, I'm guilty. I'll go through a few shots and then decide which one I
Okay.
want to post.
And will angles. Give me angles. If the angle ain't right, don't you post it and
Maybe that's a
untag
female
me.
thing then. Well, I would
Gotta
hope
be.
so. I would see. I can't see. I would feel some
No,
kind of way
it's
with a
some
man.
dudes. I know some dudes personally who will go through a good 5, 6, 7 pictures and different angles to find their angle. It ain't just women. Stop that.
What are you trying to do? Be a professional? You just trying to start a modeling career or what?
Listen, it's the angles, right? Cause your under neck might hit different when you go right here versus if you know what I'm saying, it's angles. It's a science to it, okay?
All I know is if me and my boys ever having a conversation and he talking about some angles, I'm gonna let him know you sounding pretty zesty right there. Like I
Listen,
ain't got no problem with women saying it because women, I hear that all the time. That's the one common denominator when it comes to women. Oh, we got to get the right angles.
it's the angles.
Even with
It's
that,
them angles.
like, and this is just another personal thing. I'm not down to nobody, nothing like that there, but I try to tell people, for the ones that are out there meeting people on the apps and all this here, be careful of the face shot. When they got 5, 6 different pictures, 5 to 7 different pictures, all
What's
of them
that
face
lower
shot,
body looking like?
you got to be careful. Proceed with caution. Proceed with caution.
Show me
That's
under the
all I'm gonna
neck.
say. Yeah,
Show
you
me
get
a
you
full
get an
body.
easy swipe left when all I see is headshots. Because you're very beautiful in the face, but I don't know about the rest. Like,
I'm not. I'm not.
and I'm
I'm
not
not.
trying to
I'm
hurt
not.
nobody feelings, so we just gonna go ahead and swipe that one left. I need to see at
Yeah,
least one full body shot.
I
And hopefully
cannot.
it's not pre-COVID. Like,
It's not 20
it's
years
not too
ago.
old.
I
Yo, what's good,
cannot.
Spirit? So as we wrap up, though, you talked about your grandparents, 65 years. Like, what's the definition of black love to you, and what does it take to sustain black love?
Ah, what is my definition of black love? If I had to put a word on it, sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
commitment. I would say sacrifice and commitment if I had to put a word on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think black love is about, well, I'm going to go from my grandparents' experience and my own. Um, my grandparents, the reason I chose those two words is because I watched my grandparents sacrifice so much for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like there will be times where my grandfather would want a certain meal and my grandmother would on a random Tuesday be making Thanksgiving dinner type food. That was her sacrifice of love for him
Mm-hmm.
because he equally sacrificed for her in the
Mm-hmm.
ways that she needed. I think black love is about being open and willing to learn, right? It's about um because if you're not willing to learn your partner, willing to learn what your partner enjoys, willing to learn what your partner loves, then what exactly are we doing, right? I feel like you're doomed if you don't really want to know who your partner is. So yeah, those are the things that I would say: sacrifice and commitment. Sacrifice and commitment. Black love, pink love, yellow love, because it's Black History Month and we black. Black
Mm-hmm.
love.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's about sacrifice and commitment. Love is great, but love is not. It doesn't. It doesn't sustain. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people think like love gonna keep us high, but it won't.
Yeah.
What's all the other things? What's all the other components?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like black love is made up of a number of different things. It's
Yeah.
not just love, right? Like that's I think yeah, it's not just love. It's all these other things that you put together
Mm-hmm.
that make up love. I hope that makes sense
No,
because it makes
it
sense in
makes
my mind.
absolute sense because especially when you're talking in terms of
Okay.
marriage, because I always said the same thing. Like, well, we're so in love. Love is not enough reason for me personally. Love is not enough reason to get married
Listen,
because everybody
no.
that loves each other can't live together. You tripping because I like to pull the tallest tissue from the back. You got to have it flipped forward. You leave the toothpaste cap off. I need it on, and like just because you love people, just because you love each other, don't mean that you can live together
You
because you're.
can love a person and very much not be in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can love anybody. You really can. I tell people all the time
And
when
you
I'm gonna do
should.
my little videos that if nobody has told you today, this week, or this month, let me be the first to say I absolutely love and adore you. You can love anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but when you talk about your partner, your black love, it's about that agape love. Can I love
Mhm.
you through any and everything?
Yeah.
And with agape love, I feel like all these other pieces, like I said, come into play: commitment, loyalty, sacrifice, being able to communicate. Like all these other pieces make up agape love.
Mhm.
They're like the roots of the agape love tree. Because
Mhm.
again, I could say I love the man on the moon, but am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to be committed to? Am I
Mhm.
loyal to? Like those are the things that breathe life
Yeah.
into agape love. Without that, ain't no agape love. Do I even like you? And
Mhm.
I think that's important. Being
Mm.
able to, I think that's a part of black love.
Yeah.
Do I like you?
Mhm.
Do I like you?
It's funny that you would even say that because I do remember dating this one young lady, and I remember her asking me that. She was like, "Do you like me?" And I'm like, "What kind of question is that?" Like, you know what I mean?
A
I
very
did
valid
everything I
one.
could because that conversation I had on myself. Yeah, we're dating, but I really don't like you. Like, you
And
know what I mean? Like,
that's key.
there are times when we
Man,
click, there's times when we don't click, but overall, with just something, I don't dislike you, but I don't like you enough to be actually like in a relationship with you. Yeah,
and
if that,
that's so important.
yeah,
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 that's what I'm saying. Like, do I like you? Because if
mm-hmm.
I don't like you, I don't care that I love you. It may sound weird.
Yeah.
I I don't know. Again,
All
Eliashaism,
right,
my mind be working a little different than other people's.
I
But if
totally
I
get that.
do not like you, I could love you till you're blue in the face, but please remove yourself. Like I
Mm-hmm.
am really the type of person. I could really love a person, and it be memes about this. I can love you and never talk to you again. That is me. I am the walking definition of that. I can love you and never have another conversation with you. If I feel like you foul or move funny or whatever, I can never and I'll be fine with that. But if
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you as my partner, as my spouse, sir, nothing, there is no there's nothing for us to talk about. It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
to discuss. I don't like you as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love you, great guy, you're a great person, but I don't like you.
Yeah,
And if I don't like you, I don't want to have a friendship with you. I don't want to know who you like. I don't want to learn nothing about you because what I've learned already, I don't like.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in your face. I don't want
Yeah,
you. So if I don't like you, especially if you just dating them, I don't really like you like that. Like you cool. You could be one of the homies. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We could get up and we could go out and grab a bite to eat or something. But
mm-hmm.
like sit when I think about liking a person, we can sit and do nothing and still have the best time. Like
Yeah,
we can sit and read books together and it be
mm-hmm.
a vibe. Like
Yeah,
don't leave. I don't want you to leave. And they did nothing. That's what I think about when I think about, oh, I like this person.
mm-hmm.
Like I really, really like you.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you can love anybody. Yeah, I love you.
The
You love
company,
me, yeah, I love you.
I like the
The
company that
company.
you keep. Yeah, yeah.
I love you being around me. Like the thought of you not being around me is overwhelming. I like you. Like so
Mm-hmm.
you hang up first. No, you hang up first. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
And I
I'm
feel like
still
you
like
should
that.
still have that. Yeah. And I feel like you should still have that even in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to have that. Like if you out of town, you hang up. No, you hang up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but this still my husband. This my main thing.
Yeah,
This my wife. But I still treat me like your girlfriend. Like, don't treat me like your wife. Treat me like your girlfriend. Do you
absolutely,
like me?
absolutely.
Yes, no, maybe. That's my piece. That's yeah. That's it. That's all. That's the message, as I
And
say.
I would agree. I would piggyback on that from the male perspective. I believe I'm a firm believer in the word that you use, not necessarily. Well, both of them. I agree with both of them, but commitment is big for me. We talked about this a couple of years ago when you were on. I think that's one of the we kind of got to talk about the difference between like our grandparents' relationships versus ours
uh,
these days. And commitment is that's the number one word that comes to mind to me because it wasn't just about you or your feelings from that generation. You know what I mean? I knew couples that had separate beds. I knew couples that, and I'm not saying that you should be miserable. I'm not saying any of that there, but they wasn't worried about them or their needs personally because we have children, we have grandchildren, we have a family. We you know what I mean. We're the symbol of where they want to make it to. Um, I think about like Coretta Scott King. Like, come on, man. Every city you go to, and I love the fact that you're a part of the movement. But every city you go to, my brother boy, you got somebody baking you a cherry pie, apple pie, lemon pie. Like, come on, come on, come on now. Come on now. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to hate on Martin Luther King. I'm just talking facts. Every single city you go to, you that guy. You see what I'm saying? It took another level of grace and commitment from her to say, you know what? Because some women can't handle being a first lady. Some women can't handle being a
It's
preacher's
me. I'm some women. All
which is
right.
why and when I talked about my bishop passing away years ago, I said that now, like his wife, former pastor Vanessa, she's a bishop now. She's a bishop now. But I always said that I felt like she could actually teach a class on that, on being what
Mm-hmm.
it takes to be a first lady, what it takes to be um associated and supporting a man of ministry that's constantly on the go, that's
Mm-hmm.
constantly, you know what I mean, doing the work of the Lord and everything. That takes a whole different gifting from God to be able to compartmentalize that. Because, like you said, and that's the thing I love about you, you're able to admit it. Nah, I need some me time, bro. We need a vacation. I know you got to do the work of the Lord, but you got responsibilities here. Like,
That part.
everybody
Okay, so
can't
stop
handle
playing with
that.
me.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing, and it doesn't always particularly to this church, like sports. Like when it comes time for Lisha, I don't know if that'll ever happen either. But if Lisha chose to get married or whatever the case may be, you're gonna have to deal with somebody that intensely loves sports. So you're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
a harder time if you tripping on him being at the NC State game or coaching here and coaching there and going to this workshop and all that, because that's part of who he is. Not
That's
that's
who
part of
he
his
is.
life, but that's who he is. So if you have issues
Mm-hmm.
with sports or you don't want to learn anything about it, you might want to back away. So I think, like you
Yeah.
said, I think it's important to not be from a selfish standpoint, worry about you, but worried about what it is that you're being willing to be committed to.
Right.
You see people all the time in the workforce where they make great careers because they're committed to that. It doesn't mean that they always loved what they do. Doesn't mean that they
Mm-hmm.
always liked what they do, but they made a commitment and they sticking it out. So I think that that's very
Right.
important, especially when you talk about in terms of black love, because guess what? Every day is not going to be honeymoon. You're gonna have some good days. You're gonna have some bad days. So it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter how many bad days we have if we're committed to one another and us committed in to figure it out. So that might be a part
Mm-hmm.
of being the commitment says, okay, well, I'm gonna take 2 days and I'm gonna go on a little staycation by myself to get myself together and give you some space so we can come back together and figure out what we need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the commitment says that, because if I'm not committed, you know what? You say what? Hey, I'm out. You know what I mean? I ain't got to deal with this. I'm too old at
Yeah.
this age to be in a relationship that I'm not happy with. You know what I mean? Or settle in for less, so to speak. So I think that, like you say, commit. Hey, what's good, Big Fly? I think that that's a big part of it too. So I would really like to see more people, especially um, couples, be more committed and settle in and being an example for the younger generations. You know what I mean? That's one of the problems
Mm-hmm.
that I have with marriage these days, and not because I'm divorced, or anything like that. There, but I just think far too many people, they approach marriage like buying a car. Okay, well, I'll try this one out for 2 years, and if I don't like it,
Yeah.
I get another one. I could always trade it in or whatever the case may be. When I feel like when that's your mindset going in, you don't have the commitment that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not thinking about, well, I'm gonna give it 2 years, I'm gonna give it 3 years.
Longevity. Yeah.
You're not thinking
Yeah.
about the totality of things. Like, I want to be with my forever person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a new car. I don't want to upgrade 5 years
Yeah.
down the line. You know what I mean? That's just my mindset. And I think that more people should approach relationships when it comes to that. But I think we've made divorce, we've made it too especially in our community, we made it too easy and too much of a regular thing, of a normal thing. So
Mhm.
when that's not
Yeah.
necessarily what God ever intended. So I would encourage people just to reevaluate the commitment that when they talking about in terms of relationships and the relationships at the end. And let's see black love win, man. Let's be there for um our children, not just our biological children, but the youth period. I remember
Absolutely.
having a conversation with the last as our class closed out. I remember having a conversation with one of the guys at church many years ago, and one of the things that we were talking about was, how different it was when we came up in church. You had the brother Strawberry and the brother Deacon Lemonade, and these different characters. But when you seen them coming, you went the opposite way because hey, get over here and sit down. Hey,
Mhm.
pick those chairs up over there. Pick
Yeah.
those envelopes up over there. Hey, help that. You see that woman trying to open that door? Go help her with a car door, stuff like that. There,
Yeah.
and it was like we missing that. We missing that in today's era.
Mhm.
So at this age, if I'm saying that we're missing that, and who's going to show the young people, why am I not taking on that mantle?
Yeah.
Why I'm not fulfilling that need and showing him, okay, this is the way you treat a young lady. You open up the car door for her. You open up the door for her. Always smell good. Like my nephews, like the cars and they love Uncle B giving them game. And I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to teach you how to be a player, nothing like that, kid. I'm gonna teach
Mhm.
you how to I'm gonna teach you how, what they're attracted to. You know what I mean? The different things
Absolutely.
that goes universal. And you know what I mean? You got your own nuances that particularly like some people like, but every woman, I've never met a woman that doesn't like a man that smells good. Like
Right.
that's automatic. Oh my God. I've never smelled that before. What is that you're wearing? It's conversation
Yeah.
started. No matter how shy you are, no matter none of that is. So different things
Listen.
that we could be, and we need to be. I feel like we need to be a better example for the ones that's coming up behind us. Instead of just
Absolutely.
minding my business, I'm gonna let your girl. Well, that's your daughters over there. You know what I mean? Nah. Hey, come in, these. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about some knuckleheads you need to watch out. Things of that nature there. Because
Right.
when we do that, guess what? Not only do we are better off for it, but our communities are.
For sure.
And that's
Yeah.
what we want to see. We want to see our communities winning and our families winning. I really want to get back. I don't want to see as many families divided. And it's a beautiful thing with the add-ons and the what they call them. Uh
The bonus family,
blended, yeah, the blended
blended family.
families and all that there. I'm not hating on that at all. But I think I would rather us see more families of commitment than blended. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
and figuring that thing out. I think that's become too much of a normal thing. But that's just my take on it. But we're gonna get ready to get out of here. And like I said, we celebrating Black History Month. So this month we're gonna be talking about different things as far as Black culture, Black history, different things of that nature there. And I just want people to do better and be better. Next week's
Mhm.
show, it'll be closer to not Martin Luther King, but Malcolm X born day. So I would definitely be in my Martin Luther King and my activist bag. Not sure who's going to be on next week. But we'll get into different things about Brother Malcolm, some of his viewpoints and different things that are there. That's one of the things that I do want to talk about though next week in particular, and whoever's on um, integration versus segregation, because me personally, I don't believe that we benefited from segregation or that segregation was necessarily a good thing. I don't the same way I don't feel like they should have forced. No, I mean integration. I'm sorry. I don't the same way we don't want to be segregation forced on us. I don't believe that integration should be forced on us either. I think that we should have different lands and different areas.
That's a deep
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, it is. I don't think that we have those kind of conversations enough. But I've always been the type of person where, as when I work hard for my money, I don't want to spend my money with somebody that just taking my money because the law says that they have to.
Yeah.
We think about the era where you had the black colored only sections, and we don't serve
Mhm.
Negroes in life and all that. There, how about to take one of those white pies and turn it into a Negro pie? And, like, why would I want to spend my money at an establishment that I know don't want to serve? because they
Yeah.
don't care about me. They just care about getting my money. So I don't. I want to get into that conversation a little bit more in depth with whoever as we close out this month. But girl, I want to thank you for being on, taking out the time to do this.
Yes.
You definitely gotta make it. You gotta come back sooner than the previous visit.
Yes. Book me. Book
All
me.
right,
I have my people talk to your people.
no doubt, no doubt. Did you have anything that you wanted to share with the young ladies, the young men?
No, thank you for having me per usual. Always a great time. Thank you, Priscilla.
Mm-hmm.
Always a great time. Stay black, stay beautiful, and like I always say, if nobody has told you today, this week, or this month, let me be the first to say I absolutely love and adore you, and I hope you all have an amazing. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. An amazing hump
Yeah,
day. Yeah. Oh, and happy
yeah. There
Valentine's
you go. There you
Day.
go. For those that
Yay!
celebrate it, it's the day of
For
love,
those
so to
that
speak, whatever.
celebrate it.
But
Love
for
on
those that's
yourself.
into that,
If you ain't got nobody else to love on, you can always love on yourself. You can never do too much of that.
mm-hmm. So shout out to everybody that's in love. Keep on winning in love. Shout out to all to my
Yes.
imaginary dudes out there, baby. I love you,
I
whoever
cannot.
you are.
Ah!
If you exist, I hope you have a great day tomorrow too.
Goodbye.
But I want to thank y'all
I
for tuning
cannot.
in. And as usual, is signing off. DeAndre and Life should know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Till next week, peace.
Peace.